getting told it is 6:30 on the dot. Case is not in agreement, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call, please.
Chuck Angier.
Here.
Tim Duffer.
Here.
Brian Hart.
Here.
Brian Garrett. Bobby Douglas.
Here.
Ben Meek.
Here.
Ron Scarrett. Keith Scruggs.
Here.
Bert Sellers.
Yeah. All right, thank you. You want to take a minute or so to go over the agenda, let me know if there's any additions or revisions need to be made to that. If we have none, we'll entertain a motion to approve. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, let's go to the minutes from last month's meeting. Any additions or revisions to the minutes? We'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second. A second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you all. Presentations. Thank you, Haley. There are no presentations. Hearing of the citizens, I don't believe anyone signed up for that either. All right, moving right along. Chief Neal, good to see you with us tonight, sir. We'll go to the Fire Rescue Association report, please.
Okay, of course, the department, the association met in December, we basically just had a Christmas banquet. That was held, actually was held here. Probably 18, 20 people, you know, the COVID going on, 25 limit. To sort of cut back some people coming, a lot of them used brought their spouse and this and that and the other. So we had a good meal, and really the only thing that we went over is sort of been customary in the last 20, 30 years. You know, the last meeting, even the November, December meeting, the departments to request a piece of apparatus, whether it be fire or rescue, would make that presentation that night, okay? So as it turned out, I don't guess we really thought we had rescue trucks in the plant for this year with the trucks that came with the COVID care money, care that money. So basically on the fire end, it was mentioned a brush truck, a fire truck, and a tanker. So we had actually just one department, which is really surprising, that put in for it. And I think some were sort of waiting, you know, did we put it in, as the COVID got us messed up, blah, 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 you know. It's been an ordinary year for everybody already. So we had one department that requested a brush truck. Well, and I wouldn't call the name, not knocking them, but technically they didn't have nobody, no representative out to even, you know, to go over the presentation or answer the questions and the procedures most time for all those to do it. You know, you would get up and, you know, like tell who you are, and you had to fill out a paper, right. You know, with the finances, the trucks you're replacing, and blah, blah, blah. And they sent you, actually Chris Smith had that paper, but after it was presented, it was right many questions to a lot of the people that she said, you know, to ask the representative of this department. And technically, he said the first 4 of them couldn't come that night. So what we done is voted to put it on hold and go into the January session, okay? And the biggest thing is, and we may have 1 or 2 put in the January session for a new fire truck, because really your budget comes up with April. We gotta have it done by April, is that correct, Chris? And the biggest thing, Brian, that we want to look at, and Dean set a committee up, is 3 people. And the biggest thing we want to look at is trying to get some standard SOGs, you know, which makes sense for everybody going forward with the county. So when you say you want a brush truck, you know, a lot of times a brush truck is like a small pickup truck with the flatbed, maybe a couple compartments. You got a tank on it and a tight motor, 95, 110, whatever, they go on up maybe 200-300 gallons per minute. That probably is more considered a brush truck. Then you go into the mini pumper class. Mini pumper class is at least probably a minimum 250, and that's a pilot takeoff pump, with that much water in it now. I'm just, for example, the truck we bought from the city of Bradford here a while back, that's a 500 pump, 300 tank, but it appears to intended as a raised truck, 4-wheel drive, and that's classified as a mini pump. And then, so, we're sort of looking at down the road on pumpers, that everybody at least has a 1250 pump and 1,000 tank, and then we're looking on tankers at least a minimum of 1,000 tank, and maybe 2,000 to 2,500 gallons of water. And that hadn't been set in stone, but that's sort of what we're looking at. Down the road, so when, like, the our department's sitting there fighting fire, and they come in for pumping, and I got 3 or 4 lines off, I need a supply line coming to me. You maybe got a 1,000 gallon pump, and I'm pumping 1,500 gallon. You gotta have something available to get the water to you. So that's what we're doing in the January meeting. It should have some SOGs, and I guess you're gonna get back with this department to put in for a brush truck, and maybe get a representative out to sort of see, ask the questions, this, and this. So, the only thing I'd like to say going forward that I know a whole lot of stuff is going on with the CARES Act money. I know Chris and them were able to get some ambulances to put some around for the county and some around for the, some departments, I guess, that took them. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you got some more money maybe coming. We don't know if you got more ambulances coming down the road, but we definitely don't want to lose the rotation of the ambulances, okay? Years ago, they gave money for 2 fire trucks and 1 ambulance. In the last few years, we've got money for 2 ambulances, and we've got, 9 to 10 departments that transport in this county. But let's go back and figure, the county runs 8,000 calls, fire and rescue. And you can help me out, Chris, probably 80% of rescue?
75%.
75%, 80 of rescue.
Yeah.
So out of 8,000 calls, when trucks are on the road, the ambulance is on the road, 6,000 of them 8,000. And I know you gotta have good fire trucks, and fire trucks cost a lot of money, they're gonna last longer. But, for example, we've got fire trucks that I had 10 years, has got 4,500 miles on them. And I got ambulances that I had 10 years, has got 85,000 miles on them. Now, I'm just using that for example, and I know Labs and Chatham and Gretna, a lot of these departments run a lot of calls. That's what happens, so you go ready to move the truck out quick. We just don't want to lose the rotation and get ambulances. And I'm not knocking people that don't transport, but I'm just saying, you gotta rotate these trucks every so many years.
Do y'all figure when you do your mileage calculation for your truck, do you figure your idle time in also as a mileage calculation?
Yeah, for us sitting on scene, we've got an hour's meter that we can click off and, go by right there. And some of that is, of course, that's not rolling your miles, it's just hours on your motor, on your truck. But at the end of the day, we don't want to lose the transports, that went from 0 to 1 to 2 in our county. So anyway, hopefully in January we get the presentations back from departments and want to request a fire apparatus, and Chris will have that, and we'll go from there. Other than that, that's all I got. Anybody got any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
I think.
Chris, I got a question. So, for clarification, so once the association decides on which department is put in and the chiefs have vetted who they think should be pushed forward, does that come to us to kind of vet as well, to give the board a recommendation?
Yes.
I'm just trying to clarify.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just knew that question might come up again later, because we're still new to it.
All right, county staff report.
All right, thank you. Just real quick here, 640 Rescue Squad, I don't really have any new updates for what's going on with that situation. We have an ad hoc committee that was appointed to look at funding and how we fund the agency. We met last week and started working on that process and kicking some ideas around. I'll be getting back with him very soon, trying to get something back to you as fast as we can. Cool Ranch in the Franklin County situation, there's just been discussion behind the scenes with Franklin County. I don't have anything new that I can discuss there at this point. The budget process started, Kim sent us the stuff on December 5th. This is you know, we turned in our capital budget already, and then we have an operational budget. And we started that December 5th, have to have that turned in by December 31, and we start that. I haven't even got to begin myself working on it. That'll be next 2 weeks on projects to do that. And one thing we had an exciting weekend at Ringo, and just for the laugh of it, when the deer jumped through the window and landed on the guy's lap. You just gotta hear Mike Neal give you that phone call.
You got that video?
Mike has a video, so you do believe.
It was so bad, we had to call Chris on Saturday to come down. There was 3 does running, the cameras on the outside, I picked them up, I had 5 people in the day room. Got a 2x6 window, and 2 was chasing the front door. They broke off, he comes across the parking lot, through the gravel, came through the window head first, sent a shotgun bolt, and I got one of my firemen sitting in the chair, and he turned him upside down. And then his wife was like that, stomped her on the foot, threw a bunch of stuff in the room. He looked like a crime scene.
It did.
I mean, he went down the hall, blood all over the walls, the floor, went in the kitchen, and the day room, come back out, and we finally got him back out the front door.
Was it back in house behind it?
No, they were chasing the third day.
The first question I was in my office, the first question the dispatch said, "You mean Mike didn't kill that thing, put it in some stew?"
Yeah, well, that's none of these. But anyway.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any unfinished business? Any more business? All right, any new business needs to come before the commission? All right, brings us down to matters from the commissioners. We'll just, since Ron not here, we'll start with Chris. Chief, you need anything else for us?
No, sir.
Ian?
Just wanted to know, let everybody know, we're gonna be hosting the EMT class starting in January. Hoping Dakota's got those dates to Casey, if not, I'll get on it again, but, we're gonna be hosting a EMT class there in Grutna, starting sometime mid-January. I think it's gonna be 20 spots, so, that's all I got.
James?
Just want to thank all the volunteers for the service all these years and continuing on, and wish everybody Merry Christmas.
So,
Will this be the last meeting this committee will have this year? Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
No, just thank all the different agencies that are here, and again, Merry Christmas, since this is Happy New Year, since this is the last meeting of the year.
look,
Pretty much the same thing they said, thank everybody for what they do and volunteering, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
just got a couple things I want to touch on. One is, we've had some calls lately. I know Ringo had a pretty good one the other day, with the vehicle, one of the tractor trailer, got a lot of assistance. Good job in everything you do with volunteers, y'all do a great job. Keep in mind your apparatus placement on the scene, make sure like out on these 4 lanes, we're blocking up the wreck really good to keep the traffic off of us, keep our folks safe. Utility poles broke, stay one pole back, block it up, make sure that all our providers are safe, our firefighters, our EMS personnel. Professionalism on the scene of a call, we're doing a great job, just keep in mind as we go forward, if somebody's having the worst day of their life, we're there. And try not to, smile or laugh too much, because they may interpret that as we're making fun of them or something, but, I also want to thank everybody for your professionalism, thank you for what you do, we, couldn't do it without you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and that's all I've got. So at this time, we're gonna go into closed session for a little while, and I'm gonna ask Bailey Hunt, David Smithman, Joe Davis, and Chris Lynn to stay with us. Chief White will get you back in just a few minutes after we have a brief session. Other than that, everybody, Merry Christmas, we appreciate all of y'all. Have a good evening.
I'll read you the closed session, then we're going to need a motion, second, and a vote to go into closed session. Tonight, we have one matter of closed session, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel, legal authority, Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A8, subject matter, killing, volunteer fire department board director's mass resignation, purpose, legal consultation / advice regarding the same. I need a motion, a second, and a vote to go into closed session for this matter.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good.
Be it resolved that the Pittsylvania County Fire and Rescue Commission on December 14th, 2020, the committee hereby certifies by recorded vote that to the best of each committee member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and identified in the motion authorizing the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting. If any member believes that there was a departure from the requirements of the act, he shall so state prior to the vote, indicating the substance of the departure. The statement shall be recorded in the committee's minutes. Mr. Garrett?
Not here.
He's not here. Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Meeks?
Yes.
Mr. Duffer? He's not here.
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay. Sorry, I apologize. Mr. Scarce is not here. Mr. Angier?
Yes.
Mr. Lovelace?
Yes.
Mr. Scruggs?
Yes.
And Mr. Sellers?
Yes.
The closed session is hereby certified. So the only thing else we have on the agenda, if anybody doesn't have anything, we will need a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Before we vote, I'd just like to tell everybody in the audience, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your patience. Keep up your good work. All in favor of adjourn?
Aye.
See y'all next month.